Hi, I'm Cash, and welcome back to Cash Talks Football as we break down all the goals scored in the Premier League. And today we're doing Brentford against Man United. I was about to say Aston Villa then for some reason. But Brentford's always been a tough place to go away. And United, let's be fair, are below them in the table and aren't very good at all this season. And after coming with their little 3-0 win in the Europa League, I just think they wanted to get through this game with no injuries, which just wasn't the case. That's all United really wanted to do. Keep all their starters off the field as much as possible and just try to get through. And of course, Luke Shaw's off going to have a bath again for the next, 19 years. But we're going to talk about a couple of little things here United are doing right and wrong and some of the decisions Brentford are making. First off, let's talk about this goalkeeper just kicking the ball down the field is absolutely atrocious. Puts his team in all sorts of problem. There's a thing in sports, we call it the up and under. It comes from rugby where you kick the ball up and everyone gets underneath it. Right? And the longer the hang time, the harder the ball is to defend or to deal with because everyone can get underneath the ball. This is a good old-fashioned up and under. He smashes the ball up in the air and has no distance on it really at all and puts his team in a right problem. And as this ball's coming down, we want to watch a couple of things, right? So one of the things, if you want to be really good at football coaching, like me, you don't necessarily just watch the impact here. That's the little first thing. But what you want to do is see what everyone else is doing away from the ball and see how this progresses, okay? That's the important part. But we know, look, someone's got their hand up in the Premier League telling someone what to do. So we know in the next 5 seconds, someone's going to score a goal. So look, boom, off it goes. Look, he's telling somebody else what to do instead of covering the space for himself because he can see that's the danger and that's where the ball's going to end up going. But I also want you to watch this. Watch how he drifts away from his defender by standing still and just letting the defender get sucked towards the ball, and he doesn't, right? Watch this. So off they go, boom, boom. Do you see him move away? Do you see that little subtle movement? Doesn't go towards the ball, just comes away a little bit from the defender, just a little bit. That's important. Now, that space, you know, he was pointing to that he needs to go and cover. He can afford to go and cover it, by the way. And what should really be happening, just see how far away he is there. That is awful. Needs to be tucked in right there. That player is not important. I watched some of these idiot YouTubers, actually, and it was one of the reasons I started doing my channel, is he had something like 60 or 80,000 views, and he was explaining about how this player is unmarked and dangerous. This player is not involved any way, shape, or form in the game. Here's the ball. He cannot Harry Potter the wand over here, or have Star Trek Enterprise beam him up and then zap the ball over here. He is absolutely and utterly irrelevant. For the ball to get there, it must travel, and if it travels, you can move. You do not do that. But again, this is poor Premier League coaching because, well, generally they're terrible. And he needs to be tucked in right there. Why is that important? Well, there's a knock-on effect because all of a sudden he can now go further because he's now got backup instead of him standing over here doing absolutely nothing. And they do not understand this. They think they're doing the right thing. I'm telling you, this is how poor the coaching is in the Premier League. They think that is acceptable, and it's not because, there's a player over it. He's relevant. The ball is on the other opposite end of the field, and that ball cannot get there without him reacting. So he needs to tuck in, keep that 3, and then you can deal with this space here much, much easier. Again, this comes down to watch what happens when this ball gets passed. I want to show you this. Ball gets passed. He goes free. He just needs to run with him, and he needs to pressure the ball. Why? Because he's running towards the ball, and the ball's behind this guy, so he cannot really interact with it because his momentum is taking him this way. Watch what he does, though. Bump, ball goes there. He points. Someone else cover and do my job because I don't want to do it and track the player. No. You're the guy in motion. With a guy in motion, you both continue in motion. You don't stop to try to go for the ball because that's his job now. Right? You can see he's almost there, ready to go. And all you have to do is keep tracking the runner. That's it. Doesn't look. Do you see his little hesitation there? Pulls up, turns inside. That's the reason this goal's conceded, because he doesn't know what he's doing. That hesitation, that 1-2 steps is taking him away. I think it's Garnacho out here on the wing, away from Garnacho to the inside instead of just tracking him on the outside is the reason, other than the rubbish goal kick and the poor header. But yeah, that is we can fix. Now look at old matey Clown Shoes here. He's pointing, telling somebody else what to do. We're still over here on I don't know what I'm doing island. Meanwhile, stood in the space. And you should have been stood right there the whole time, making sure he was marked. But you don't know what you're doing. So as one goes on, bump. Now you can see that pocket of space. Of course, Clown Shoes, number 1 is step forward now. Instead of being there, because for some reason that was the thing. Clown shoes number 2 is finally where he needs to be, but he's now having to get there on a full sprint instead of almost being on a slow jog because he was already in position. He was already where he needed to be. So when the cross comes in, because Clown shoes number 1 decided to step forward for no reason, there's Clown shoes number 1. He's not there, so he can't cut this cross out. And Clown shoes number 2 is getting house-paced by, I think it's Mason Mount, who's got no pace in him and might just go off injured now because he did a run for, 3 yards. But the fact his starting position is so bad, and Clown shoes number 1 ran forward, opens up the space for the simple tap-in. If it's a good delivery. And it is 1, 2 in the back of the net. There we go. Simple. Let's move on to the next goal. Before we do, though, I want to show you Clown shoes number 1 again. I want to show you why he doesn't know what he's doing. Watch, when the ball's here, look, you can see it's getting played. Everyone should be jogging and tracking back into their respective positions. He needs to be jogging with his back line, going back because the ball's getting played into space. Watch his movement. Watch what he does. Do you see that? Steps inwards and backwards. Inwards and back, but not back towards his own goal, if you get me. Inwards, towards the centre line, and then inwards towards the sort of centre of the centre line, if that makes sense. This is what I'm talking about. That's the centre line, dush. And that's the centre line, dush. So he makes a movement towards there and then towards there, instead of a movement towards there and then towards there. That is hugely different. It's the difference of going 1-2 yards this way instead of 1-2 yards this way, and then he's gone 1-2 yards that. Well, he was there. 1-2 yards that way instead of 1-2 yards that way. There's just completely and utterly not watching what's going on. Why are you running forward when the ball's going backwards behind you? And I'm going to show you Clown shoes number 2. Just for shits and giggles. 1, 2, 3 is where they should have been. You can see where he is, right? This defender. And if these other 2 were in line with him where they should have been, starting off, let's see if we can get that line straight. That's where they would have been. He would have been there. He would have been there. And they would have cut this ball out. Actually, he probably would be a little bit further on because he looked like he had a little bit of pace on him, to be fair. You know that theme in the Premier League, what we have on this channel about players not taking responsibility and going towards the ball? Have a little look at this clown here, right? When the ball comes in, there's enough players in there. It's kind of a poor header, but off he goes to challenge for the second ball. Now, I also want you to pay attention to the body shape of where he is. He is facing that way. He is facing that way. He's in motion. He's not in motion, okay? Now watch what goes on. As this goes forward, look, he points at the ball. And as we all know on this channel, what's about to happen in the next 5 seconds is the other team's about to score a goal because the player pointing at the football has basically should have gone to it and dealt with it, but decided to tell his teammates to do it instead. And in results, that's going to cause a goal. So if he carried on sprinting towards it, he would have got there. What he's done is the guy that was facing the other way, he's gone, hey, mate, I know you were facing the other way and you're not running. I've stopped running, so now can you turn, run over here, and then win that header, where I could have just carried on running with my momentum and headed the ball out for a corner. And the reason he doesn't do that is because of exactly what I've said, headering the ball out for a corner. It'll be structurally ingrained that that's a bad thing to do, right? Putting the ball out of play. And I'd say about 85-90% of the time, yeah, it is the wrong thing to do. In this situation, it's the right thing to do. Get the ball out of bounds, everyone back up, get ready to go again. But they don't do that. And instead, bump, there's the ball. Oh, it bounced in the box. Look how he's just casually jogging. He would have already been there, already dealt with it. And by the way, he could have just smashed it and hoped for the best and tried to put it over, out for a throw in. Could have done loads of things. But because of the situation now, look, bump, wrong way of challenging. Brentford players running in full on motion, running at it. United players just kind of just hoping, really, because he's doing it from a standing jump because he doesn't have any momentum to attack the ball. And loses the header, simply. 2 United players now pressuring for the ball as it's just hit, deflected into goal. I feel kind of bad for the keeper, to be fair, because it looks like he's actually got that perfectly, and his teammates just kind of got in the way, got a bit of a deflection. I think it hits him in the chest, actually, and just beats the keeper. Unlucky there on the keeper. Okay, I had to watch this a couple of times just to show you the breakdown a little bit of what's going on really here. So you can see that, I'm not sure, I think it's Luke Shaw comes over and gets injured. As he's coming in here, his next foot there and his left foot needs to challenge for the ball. That's what needs to happen for you to actually try to be successful here. What you can't do is, you see he lunges with that right foot. He lunges with it. And that's where the injury comes, because as he's at full stretch, then he gets impact on his muscle when he's, stretching out completely. And that's what causes his injury right here. It's simple. You're tackling with the outside of the right foot instead of the inside of the left foot. You genuinely don't know what you're doing. You cause yourself an injury because you don't have any body weight and body mass behind you to protect you in a tackle, because you haven't been taught this. This is why you keep getting injured. I'm telling you, it is amazing the poor quality in coaching in the Premier League. It really is. This is one of those things where you teach players to do certain things, right? Because if they don't have the weight of their body behind them, it's working against them. And that weight will snap your muscles. Classic example right here. I mean, these are supposed to be the best of the best. They know what's going to happen, because I know what's going to happen if he goes in for a challenge like that. So he should know. There's no way on this earth, him playing as much football as he does, that he doesn't know that that's going to happen when he's challenging with the outside of his right foot and that player's putting all their weight on your muscle. You know that's going to happen. But let's move on a little. Next, massive problem for United here. And this is becoming, more and more of a Premier League thing where players don't play football. There's these it's like AI's playing football. It's like AI has told them, in this scenario, what you're supposed to do is protect the ball. No, you just run off with the ball. Look at how much room there is here. I think it's Kobe Mania actually, to move with the ball, right? So when he gets the ball, look, it's trying to shield the ball. Well, why don't you just play the ball? Why are you trying to stop that player getting the football instead of you just playing football? It's a simple pass. If you just do one pass, look, bump, right there, bump. Off he goes. No, you're too busy trying to hold the player off because AI would say, you need to protect the ball. It is genuinely what a moronic AI would think about playing football is what's happening in the Premier League. That is exactly what's going on. Now, look, bump. Oh, I've lost the ball because I was too busy trying to foul the player and not play the game of football. Oh, shocker. Now, this is the weird part. Now, I want to say two statements here, and you can understand where your levels of consciousness is and the type of person you are when I say this. Sportsmanship is to play on and score a goal. Sportsmanship is not to kick the ball out because someone's hurt on the field, right? If you think that sportsmanship is to kick the ball out because he's on the field, that's the reason you never make it at the highest level, okay? That's the reason, yeah? My job is to beat you. Your job is to stop me. If you choose to lie on the ground because you've broken your leg, that's your fault. It's not mine. I'm not here to be nice to you. I'm here to beat you, right? When you understand that and you can get those two parallels, and you go, oh, it's not right. And that's the reason why you're not the best of what you do, okay? It's not that don't feel sorry for him. It's not that we don't, have compassion. We have all of those things. But my job is to beat you. And that's proper sportsmanship. And people don't understand that unless they really understand of what it is to be the best. Why is it sportsmanship to beat you? Well, because I've given you the respect that I have to do everything in my power to beat you. And if I don't give you that respect, then I don't really respect you. And there's no it's a huge thing for you to understand. When you get that, you go, oh, yeah, simply, I've just got to play my best all the time, regardless if you're on the floor because you've just done a stupid tackle. The rule, I'm just playing on. There's a man over here with a whistle. If he wants me to stop playing, he'll tell me. I'm not doing it because I feel bad about you because you hurt yourself. Because I'm telling you right now, have you ever had anything bad happen to you in your life? Did everybody stop and go, oh, that wasn't fair? Oh, no, let's all put it right. That's not fair that, someone robbed him or whatever. No, it doesn't happen. You get on with what's in front of you and you deal with it as fast as you can. And Brentford do. And clearly, right now, Brentford are going to play a little 1-2. Obviously, United are in shambles because there's a player down because he's a muppet tackling wrong. And the ball's going in behind. You carry on playing, and the best thing you can do for your teammate is go and win that ball and kick it out of bounds. That's what you need to do. You don't complain to the referee. And by the way, what you really do, if you're a real good teammate, because this is exactly what I would do if one of my friends or on my team is down, you run and you absolutely muller that guy and you take a yellow card. You stop the game. You go boff and you flatten him. That's what you do. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. You're not all supposed to whinge and complain to the referee. You take it into your own hands and you go and foul that guy. Look, he's stopped. He's completely stopped. Ask him for ref, but there's a man on the floor. So go and muller one of their teammates. Get a free kick. Give them a free kick. Take a yellow card so you can get medical attention on for your buddy and you can stop the game. Not standing there like a mupp. And this is the next step in actual levels of concentration and professionalism. Okay, instead of little moany, whingy babies, what you do is you keep playing. Right, look, watch this, watch this. You've got 1, 2 players. You've got 2 players here not marked, and you've got 1 player there not marked. Every single player in the United box is basically switched off and whatever. Every single one of them. As we move it forward, look, he even dances around him to show him that he could mark him. He doesn't. I know he's split between 2, so I get what he's trying to do. He's trying to basically hope that he can move forward and attack the player, not to the player on his side. But more importantly, he's not coming to help. Right there. He still hasn't bothered to get goal side, standing here and marking his player. Have a guess which one's going to be the one that scores the goal. As the cross comes in. Oh, there we go. All could have been avoided. Like almost 30 different ways that could have been avoided. The easiest one is just mark your player on the back post and not let him stand 2 yards ahead of you. But yeah, let's move on to the next goal. A little bit of attacks defense transition, and then they lose the ball and it goes back the other way. But I want to point this out to you ever so quickly. Oh, well, not ever so quickly. The exact same problem as the last goal. You know when there was 2 players unmarked and there was another player doing absolutely nothing, and there's no one over here. There's no one for you to be marking, but you're going to stand over here anyway. Yeah, nowhere near enough pressure on the ball, which is, I think, standard in the Premier League. You have 1, as I was saying, 1. Oh God, my little thingy's not working. 1, 2 players for Man United, but yeah, we've got 1, 2, 3 players here for Brentford. No one's doing anything there. That's fair. That's fair, absolutely fair. But how can you have in the middle of your goal 2 centre-backs and 3 of their players and someone over here doing absolutely nothing in this back 5 system? Because it's not a back 3. It's a back 5 when you're defending and it's a back 3 when you're attacking. It's yeah. But this is just awful. Absolutely awful defending again. So when, oh look, we've got loads of time to jog there and get there. But we're not going to do that either. We're just going to have a little bit of a watch, take a little bit of a time off, because you know what? We don't defend. And even he could yell and tell his teammate to come back and help him, because what he can do is called pushing one on. So he'll come back to do one. He comes back to do his job, and then we're all good, right? But no, just doesn't do anything. Jogs ever so slowly. Now, when the delivery comes in on the back post, there's 2 players there, completely unmarked. Still, it's not like this guy didn't have time because the ball went out wide, had a bit of a dribble, no pressure on the ball to put the cross in for him to jog back and split these 2 players here easily. Doesn't do it. The attitude, I think this is of Ahmad, is so bad, and I'm going to show you this now. He is a player that isn't going to make it. And you're going to go, oh, but he's got all the talent in the world. Doesn't have the attitude. Watch why. As that goes in, look, there he is. Here comes, what's his reaction? What's he going to do? What do you think? Any ideas? Have a little think. Goes down, couldn't care less, does his shoelace up. Oh, yeah, goal's gone in. Don't worry, I'm just going to stand here and do my shoelace. Yeah. Wow. To me, wow. There's a reason you don't do that. There's a million reasons you don't do that. Even if your shoelace needs to be done up. I don't know if you know this, but you're on TV, and every single thing you do is recorded. Every single thing you do has an impact on everything that you do. This is not standard media training. When that goal goes in, you know that everything there is going to be on you. All the cameras are going to be on you. Your reaction is going to be recorded. That's his reaction. He knows that's going to happen. Does it anyway. So what does that tell you? Doesn't care. Couldn't care less. Yeah, that's an attitude problem. So this is a lot of the reason for this goal is because this is I'd class it as a hodgepodge team that United have put out. When you have a hodgepodge team and you're not playing with those people regularly, these are the mistakes you make. Okay, so when the ball's been split the midfield, it's gone straight past them all. We've got 1, 2, 3 midfielders. The ball split into the pocket here. Okay, now a defender needs to step towards it. So one defender needs to go to the ball. Everybody else kind of holds their shape and sees what's going on. Who's the closest person to the ball? Probably Harry Maguire here. You don't want to be coming anywhere near it. Absolutely anywhere near it. You're too far away. Watch what happens. Both go, and then neither go. Yeah, brilliant. So when both of you go towards the ball, and then why did I say I didn't want him coming towards it? Well, because he's too far away, so he can't make a challenge, because by the time he takes a touch, he's not going to get close enough. Maguire could have maybe kept coming. You can see because he's taken one little bit that way. That means he could have gone one little bit that way and he would have been right there to tackle. But now everyone is doing something different. And what you've done by stepping forward is opening up this massive pocket of space. Oh, by the way, and this little clown shoes is over here. Have a guess who's not going to track a runner. Have a guess who's not going to do anything but just stand around and do his shoelace up. Yeah. Off he goes. Look, he even runs away from the player. It's like, no, he's definitely not my player. I'll keep him on side, mind. I'll make sure he stays on side, but I'm not going to go over and mark him. I'm going to stay over here and do nothing. Yeah. So I think this is a quality little ball here, but you can see 1, 2, 3 players here, 4, 5 around the ball, and they're all out of sync. No one knows who's supposed to be going towards the ball. No one knows who's supposed to be covering for each other. They're all just in each other's way, really. So when this ball gets played, blonk, it's a simple pass. Everyone is taken out of the equation. Everyone. Oh, and don't worry. Here he is out here. He could have just walked with him. Didn't even have to run, walk with him. He's managed to get further away from him now, out on the outside. Brilliant. Well done. Next thing we know, ball is in the back of the net. Yeah, let's move it on. This is actually a quality strike from Garnacho, and I want to explain the reasons why and why he never doesn't normally score. Okay, so he passes the ball. This is the reason he's able to get a clean strike off. Can you see this massive pocket of space? What he would do normally is try to run here. Oh, look at that brilliant zoom in with the thing. I don't know what I'm doing. Let's just fix that somehow. Oh no, I'm doing something even stranger. Yeah, I don't even know what I'm doing. Reset the zoom. Yes, thank you. When you're running into that pocket of space, it's easy for him to be marked. Okay, they just have to follow him. But because he does something unique, which he doesn't normally do, is pass the football. The minute he passes the football, he can now run into that pocket of space. Guess what? And no one takes the ball off him, and they can't tackle him. You know why? Because he doesn't have it. All he has to do to score goals like this week in, week out is drop it back to, I think this might be Christian Eriksen, drop it back to a player who can give it back to him, and look at that pocket of space he can make every week. It's that simple. That's how he has the space and time on the ball to take his touch and smash it into the goal. He's not trying to dribble players. He's not trying to do anything. Just knock it back. They have to go and pressure the ball. The minute they do, you can walk past that player into the pocket of space that they leave because they have to go towards the ball. And then you get to take a touch, have a look up, look how far away they are, and then he hits the back of the net. Great finish. Last goal here. I think this is Ahmed again on the out on the side. Oh, well, the player that should have stopped the other 3 goals because he was right there every single time. And I don't care if you've come down the other end of the field and you've kicked the ball in the goal, because if you had stopped those other ones, you would have won 3-1 instead of losing 4-3. And that's the problem. People only look at certain aspects, because this is why I don't really like naming players, because they'll say, oh yeah, but this player plays this and does this. No, he's not. He's a footballer and he stood there on the field. He needs to do that job. That's what he needs to do. He's up front. Well, he's not a winger. Oh, well, he still needs to play there because that's where he is at that time on the field. And if you're playing at that point as a right back in that right back position, you need to be defending that area and doing that zone. And anyone saying otherwise, don't listen to him, because they don't know what they're talking about. So when he cuts inside here, look, bump goes. Actually, I don't think it takes a deflection. I think the keeper's blames his defenders a little bit here too much. But it's a decent, clean strike. And it's one of these sort of things, I think it comes a lot more with modern footballers, and the fact that, well, I'm not a right back, I'm a right wing back. And the right wing back doesn't tuck in and do... You do exactly what you're told to do. And when there's 2 players in front of you unmarked and you give away 3 goals, I don't care that you run down and have a good little hit and put the ball in the net. Because we lost because you didn't defend. Just because you scored a goal doesn't give you anything. Other than that, I'll see you next time on Cash Talks Football.